Imagine this. You wake up one morning. The buses are not running. The factories have gone silent. The lights in your home flicker and die. This is not a scene from a film. This could be India if its oil supplies were suddenly cut off. Oil is the lifeblood of our nation. It is the fuel that powers our economy. It keeps our cities moving and our industries producing. Without a steady supply of oil, India would grind to a halt. Our progress, our ambitions, and our daily lives depend on this crucial resource more than we often realize, making its uninterrupted flow a matter of national priority. Our country is a powerhouse of growth. We are building new roads, new cities, and new industries every single day. But all this development needs energy, and a huge part of that energy comes from oil. Think about the trucks that deliver food to our markets. Think about the tractors that our farmers use in their fields. Think about the power plants that generate electricity for our homes and hospitals. They all run on fuels derived from crude oil. This reliance makes India extremely vulnerable to any disruptions in the global oil market, a reality that our policymakers are acutely aware of. India imports over 85% of its crude oil. This means we depend heavily on other countries for our energy needs. Any problem in the Middle East, any war, or any political disagreement can threaten our supplies. When oil prices go up, the price of everything in India goes up too. From the vegetables you buy to the cost of travel, it all gets more expensive. This dependency is a significant strategic weakness. For a nation with aspirations of becoming a global leader, being so reliant on external sources for its most critical energy resource is a risk that cannot be ignored or left unmanaged. Therefore, the question is not if a crisis will happen, but when. We have seen it before. Global events can change the landscape overnight. A conflict thousands of miles away can have a direct impact on every Indian citizen. This is why securing our oil supply is not just an economic issue. It is a matter of national security. We need a shield. We need a backup plan that can protect us when the world becomes unstable. India needed to build a safety net, an emergency reserve that could keep the country running, even if our oil imports were to stop completely for a period of time. To protect itself from this danger, India has built a secret shield. This shield is not made of steel or weapons. It is made of massive underground caverns filled with millions of barrels of crude oil. These are India's strategic petroleum reserves. They are like a giant power bank for the country. If our regular oil shipments are stopped for any reason, we can use this stored oil to keep our economy going. This is our insurance policy against a global crisis. The organization responsible for this mammoth task is the Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited, which ensures these reserves are always ready. These reserves are not just simple tanks. They are enormous man-made caverns dug deep into rock far beneath the ground. This underground storage is safer from natural disasters and potential attacks. Currently, India has 3 such facilities. The first is in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, which can hold 1.33 million metric tons of oil. The second is in Mangaluru, Karnataka, with a capacity of 1.5 million metric tons. The largest of the 3 is at Padur, also in Karnataka, which can hold 2.5 million metric tons of crude oil. Together, these 3 sites form the first phase of our strategic oil security plan. In total, these 3 reserves can hold 5.33 million metric tons of crude oil. This might sound like a huge number, and it is. This amount is enough to cover India's oil needs for about 9.5 days. While this does not seem like a very long time, it is a critical buffer. Those 9.5 days give the government precious time. It allows our leaders to find new sources of oil, to engage in diplomacy, and to manage the crisis without causing immediate panic and chaos across the nation. It is a vital breathing space that can make all the difference in an emergency. The concept is simple but powerful. During times of stable supply and low global prices, India buys crude oil and stores it in these underground caverns. The oil then sits there, waiting for an emergency. When a crisis hits and imports are disrupted, the government can order the release of this oil. It is then sent to our refineries, which turn it into petrol, diesel, and other essential fuels. This ensures that even in the worst-case scenario, our transport, our industries, and our power sector can continue to function for a limited period, shielding the common citizen from the immediate shock. Our current 9.5-day cover is a good start, but India knows it needs a bigger shield. That is why the government is already working on Phase 2 of the Strategic Petroleum Reserves Program. This plan will add 2 more giant storage facilities. The first will be in Chandakol, Odisha, with a capacity to hold a massive 4 million metric tons of oil. The second will be an expansion at the existing Padur site in Karnataka, adding another 2.5 million metric tons of storage. These are not small projects. They are massive undertakings that show how seriously India is taking its energy security for the future. Once these new reserves are built, India's strategic storage capacity will more than double. The total capacity will increase by 6.5 million metric tons, bringing our national strategic petroleum reserve total to 11.83 million metric tons. This will extend our emergency cover from 9.5 days to about 22 days. An extra 12 days of energy security is a huge strategic advantage. It gives our country even more time to navigate a complex global crisis. It strengthens our position on the world stage, as we are less vulnerable to supply shocks or political pressure from oil-producing nations. This expansion is a bold step towards greater energy independence. But India's strategy does not stop at its own borders. We are also looking at opportunities overseas. One of the most interesting developments is in our neighboring country, Sri Lanka. In Trincomalee, there is a massive oil tank farm. It was built by the British during World War II to refuel their warships. This farm has 99 giant tanks, but most of them have been lying unused for decades. Recently, India and Sri Lanka signed a historic agreement. Under this deal, a joint venture involving the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and Lanka IOC, a subsidiary of Indian Oil, will refurbish and use these tanks. This Trincomalee deal is a masterstroke of economic and strategic diplomacy. While these tanks are not officially part of India's strategic petroleum reserves, they provide a significant strategic advantage. Having access to a large storage facility so close to our shores is incredibly valuable. It can be used to store oil for Indian companies, effectively creating a supplementary reserve. It also deepens our relationship with Sri Lanka and increases our influence in the critical Indian Ocean region. This helps secure the vital shipping lanes through which most of our oil is transported, adding another layer to our energy security. What we are seeing is a clever, two-pronged strategy for India's energy security. On one hand, we are building and expanding our own secret, underground strategic petroleum reserves within our country. These domestic reserves are our ultimate fallback, a hidden shield that guarantees a baseline of energy supply in the worst of times. They are under our direct control, safe and secure. This domestic pillar is the foundation of our energy independence, a powerful statement that India can and will look after its own needs when a crisis strikes. It is our national insurance policy, paid for and managed by us. On the other hand, we are looking outward. By partnering with Sri Lanka to develop the Trincomalee oil tank farm, India is creating an overseas asset. This is our strategic depth. It gives us flexibility and access to storage beyond our own shores. It is a commercial operation with clear strategic benefits. This approach allows India to store oil closer to international shipping routes, potentially reducing costs and providing more options in a crisis. It is a smart way to expand our energy footprint and secure our interests in the wider Indian Ocean region, a critical arena for global trade and energy flows. This dual approach, combining hidden domestic reserves with overseas energy assets, provides a robust and multi-layered defense. It is a forward-thinking plan that prepares India for the uncertainties of the 21st century. The world is changing, and global energy markets are becoming more unpredictable. A nation of 1.4 billion people cannot afford to be caught unprepared. This strategy shows that India is no longer just reacting to crises. It is proactively building resilience to protect its economy, its people, and its future growth story from any external shocks. Ultimately, these oil reserves, both the hidden caverns in India and the historic tanks in Sri Lanka, are more than just storage facilities. They are symbols of India's strength, foresight, and growing self-confidence. They represent a hidden shield that protects our sovereignty and our freedom to act independently on the world stage. By securing our energy lifeline, we are securing our future. This comprehensive strategy ensures that the engine of India's growth will not sputter or stop, but will continue to run strong, powered by a secure and stable supply of energy for decades to come.